Hi, I'm Aurora Buffington, Health and Fitness Specialist at the Hollywood Recreation Center. Today I'd like to talk to you about intensity levels. Intensity is the level of effort required to perform an activity. The Federal Physical Activity Guidelines recommend that adults get 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity per week, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity activity per week. A little rule of thumb that the CDC recommends is 1 minute of vigorous intensity equals 2 minutes of moderate intensity. So if you want to switch it up between the two types, you are free to do so. An easy way to determine the intensity level that you're working at is to use the talk test. The talk test is very simple. All you need to do is begin your workout, and as you're working out, if you're working out at a level that is a moderate intensity, you should be able to carry on a conversation and talk. However, you're not working out at a level that you can sing. Another way to measure intensity is to use your heart rate. But before you do that, you're going to need to know a couple of things. And the first thing is, what is your maximum heart rate? The way to determine that is rather easy. You're going to take the number 220 and subtract your age from that number. For example, if you're 40 years old, you'll take the number 220, subtract 40, and you come up with an estimate of 180 as your maximum heart rate. Now you're going to take that maximum heart rate and multiply it by percentages of that maximum heart rate to determine whether you're working at a moderate or a vigorous intensity. Moderate intensity activity usually makes your heart work at 50 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. Vigorous intensity, on the other hand, is going to require that you work harder at about 70 to 85% of your maximum heart rate. Taking your first two fingers, your middle and your index finger, and sliding them along the base of your thumb to find your radial pulse, which happens to be the pulse that's along your wrist. And you're going to need to make sure that you have a stopwatch or something with a second hand on it so that you can measure for 30 seconds how many beats you're getting. Once you figure out your heart rate, you're going to multiply that number by 2 to get your beats per minute. When it comes to heart rate, there's also easier ways to measure your heart rate without having to find your pulse. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can either wear a heart rate monitor that you can purchase at a local sporting goods store, or you can hold on to the heart rate monitor little rails on your cardiovascular equipment here at the fitness center to give you a quick readout of what your heart rate is at the moment. Another easy way to measure your physical activity level or your intensity level is to use the RPE scale, or the rate of perceived exertion. This scale is great because you don't need to take heart rates or anything like that. All you need to do is have a scale, and that scale has numbers in between 6 and 20. The 6 corresponding to a very light, minimal effort, and the 20 corresponding to the most maximal effort that you could put out and sustain for just only a few seconds. Ideally, you're going to want to fall within a range of 11 to 13 on that scale if you're seeking moderate intensity activity, or 14 to 17 for a more vigorous activity level. Some examples of vigorous activity include running or jogging, even race walking, swimming laps, jumping rope, or playing basketball on a full court. Some examples of moderate level intensity activities would include things like walking vigorously at a pace of about 3 to 4 miles an hour, ballroom dancing, general gardening. Those are activities that would get your heart rate working at about a moderate intensity. Just remember, if you're just starting out and you're beginning your workout plan, you want to make sure that you're going to stick to the lower end of the moderate intensity level, more closer to a 50 to 55% range. And as you become more fit and more conditioned, feel free to bring that up a little bit. Well, that's it for now. My name is Aurora Buffington. I work here at the Hollywood Recreation Center, and I encourage you to visit our facilities where fitness happens.